Richard Reboredo.
How you doing?
Welcome.
Thank you.
You're on deck.
I'm on it.
How do you feel?
Like I'm on deck.
What does that feel like?
It feels like feels good. It feels like a calm breeze blowing in my face.
Ah. That would be nice if we had a nice calm breeze blowing through here.
Yeah.
Right? Maybe someday we will get this to the point where we can do it like in remote locations, right? Wouldn't that be cool?
Yes.
You know, do it on a boat or on a tropical island, you know?
Yes.
Like a company retreat, and we could all go to some really cool place for, 4 days, like a little bit of learning and education and team building, and then just generally just kind of hanging out, doing some podcasts and shooting some content like in, who knows, St. Lucia or something like that.
What's that place that Brad always wants to go to? He's been talking about the same place for like 3 years. Like a special location. I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I can't remember.
Well, anyway, cheers.
Cheers.
We're gonna have let's do it. We'll do another little toast there.
There we go.
Far.
Good
we
stuff.
we're drinking some scotch for this episode 2 of On Deck. And the reason, do you want to know why we're having scotch?
I might know, but tell me.
Okay, well, then you probably do know. However, if you remember when we did our test podcast, we were talking about your 3 favorite conversation settings, right? And the first was wake up in the morning, drink coffee, and talk about the news with your family or friends or whatever. But that was conversation setting number 1 that you really liked. Conversation setting number 2 was wine and dinner.
Right.
And conversation setting number 3 was a scotch. And, I forgot. I could have offered you a cube. I didn't. I forgot.
It's all good.
It would have sat here. But
Very
anyway,
tasty.
We'll do a cube next time. But conversation setting 3 for you was drinking a scotch at night, hanging out, and philosophizing about whatever. So I thought that would be an appropriate way for us to launch our conversation by trying the best that we can to replicate your favorite conversation setting number 3.
Yeah, I that's what I thought. When you came by the office and you said scotch or bourbon, I was like, oh, it's got to be scotch.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, good. Well, welcome, man. Glad to have you.
Thank you.
You're looking sharp.
I thought about another favorite conversation.
What's that?
I don't want to. I'm not trying to blow smoke up anybody's what, but I really enjoy talking with clients about plans, about the future, about how this is affecting that, how what we're going to use next. That's my next favorite conversation.
What is it about that you enjoy?
Well,
I'm thrilled to hear that, and anybody that would be is or would be a client of ours would certainly love to hear that as well too. Why is that?
Because again, it's like that mixing of creativity and business, putting it together, putting a plan on paper, and watching it unfold in the future. Thinking about it, again, it's kind of like mixing a little bit of philosophy of what we have in marketing with the economy and how it's doing today and what the store is actually able to accomplish. And this is what we're going to do with all of that information. Put it on a plan to paper for the next month, the next quarter. I really enjoy those conversations.
That's cool. Having done this for a long time myself, and now you've been doing this for a good while, I think that really is one of the foundational pillars of what it is that we do, right? And I think one of the things that makes us different is that we're able to sit with our clients and do that. And that's not to say that other agencies or other companies don't do that, but I think where we come at it from a different perspective is that we have the retail car business experience in-house from either being in that business, being around that business for such a long time, that it gives us a unique perspective that we really understand the business. 2 is that we have the historical aspect of having been traditional for so many years, and then also have gone through, a decade of being a digital shop, that we're able to have a conversation with our clients that I think is different than other companies in the sense that we talk about all of it, right? We don't just sit down and say, hey, let's just talk about this little slice of your business, but we would like to come and talk to you about the plan for everything for your business for the month or for the quarter. So I'm glad you started there, because I think that's I think it's a meaningful thing that we do.
And okay, besides the client side of it and doing that sort of stuff for the clients, it's meaningful for me personally because it's my profession. I have to have this conversation. I look forward to having this conversation as often as possible. I love having the conversations with my family in the morning. I love having the dinner conversations with friends and anyone. The whiskey or scotch conversation at night usually gets a little deeper. But my profession, why not enjoy what we do?
Right. I think that's it's funny, when we were growing up, my mom used to buy us, different, I don't want to call them self-help books, because that's not really the case, but my mom was a single mom raising my sister and I, and there were times when she would come across a book that I know she felt would be very helpful to our development to read. And so the one that always stuck in my mind the most was Do What You Love and the Money Will Follow. And I never read the book. And I've told this to my mom, and I would say this again. Most of the so-called motivational or self-help books that I either was given or ended up with, I never read. Foolishly, I guess I thought that the title kind of says it all, right? There's 350 supporting pages that all tell you what the title clearly tells you.
Right.
And so what you're talking about is having a passion and an enjoyment for what you do and the conversations. Look at Brad. He's walking around looking in here like, what are you guys doing? We're talking.
Everything's
We're
all right.
on. We're doing a show. And so anyway, what you're talking about, I'm glad that you added that, because it's an important part of what we do here, and I'm glad to see that you enjoy that,
Yeah. I would hate for anyone not to enjoy that stuff.
Right.
We have, all the clients that we have are delightful to deal with. The people that we have here working with are friendly to deal with. It would be terrible if someone, just didn't enjoy it on a day-to-day basis.
Right. Here, get a little closer to your microphone, or you can pull it towards you if you want to sit back, but just always keep it, like Joe Rogan says, like a fist, like a fist away from your mouth.
Like an old school rapper.
Yeah, right. Boop, 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 boop. But no, you're right. And I think I found if there was ever a time that I wasn't, looking forward to those conversations, it's only in the event if our clients are very direct, and this is a performance-based business, right? So if they didn't have a good month, that conversation, it's going to be a real conversation about, hey, we didn't perform. We didn't get the job done. When I say we, it could be us as the agency. It could be them at the store. It could be us collectively. But I think what you're finding, I hope and I do believe, is that as you continue to improve your skill in your craft and your knowledge of what it is that you're communicating to the clients, a bad month is not something to be afraid of, right? It's not that conversation after a bad month is not something to be afraid of, because what happens there? You learn, right? I believe either win or learn, right? And so those months, when you're like a little apprehensive about, we got to have a tough call here because maybe the client didn't have the best month, that's an opportunity to learn and grow and get better at your craft, which makes those conversations more enjoyable over time, because you have the experience and the answers to be able to help guide them through, good times and bad times.
Right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Whenever I have any fear of a conversation potentially going bad or potentially going awry, because I already know how they did. I don't have to ask them how they did. I already know how they did, and right. I can see all the other stuff that supports it or not. So when I think the conversation might go bad, that's when I'm kind of, I got the jitters. I'm hesitant to, but still, they're people just like us. They want to get a job done just like us, and we all want to succeed.
Yes.
And it all starts with dialogue.
It's funny, that's, I shared with you on the test run that we did, that one of the primary, and really the primary reason to do this is to have, meaningful conversations with people. We talked about technology and how technology has, separated a lot of people and placed a lot of distance between people. And I just really enjoy the face-to-face conversation that we're having right here. It's funny, when we did the first one earlier, we're supposed to be on a time limit, right? But I don't want there to be a time limit to what we're doing, because we'll know when the conversation has come to a point where we're like, yeah, okay, right? But that's a natural part of the human interaction, which makes this so enjoyable.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm blah, 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 me, talking.
I'm enjoying it. I've had a couple of sips already. I'm feeling a little warm, and I've already got a little smile on my face.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's always good. I will say that it is always good to see a smile on your face. I like seeing smiles come through your face.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
It's good,
Instead of the scowl.
Well, you are an intense person, and you are a serious person at times, and I think that is a reflection of how you approach your day, you approach your work, you approach your business. You're serious about it. It's not like, hey, let's just fuck off here and have a good time. I know you take what you do seriously, and I appreciate that. And at the same time, it's also good to see you smile and enjoy yourself in the process as well.
Yeah, while I'm doing it.
Yeah.
I've played tennis for the past 2 weeks. One night a week. It's my new little exercise thing. And the first night that I played, I was like a little kid smiling up and down the court, just running all over the place to get the ball. I did terrible. But towards the end of the night, I was like, oh, that's how you hit it. That's how you're supposed to do it. Last night I played again. No smiles. I was like, serious. I know what I'm doing now. I gotta repeat the same exercise. I gotta get to the end of last week's lesson at the beginning of this week's lesson, and I was like on it. Right. Everybody was like, "What's wrong? Is something wrong?" I was like, "No, I'm on. I'm focused. I need to get this done."
Are you taking lessons?
No, I'm just playing with some friends.
Okay. So, what did you? Let me ask you. Have you, over the 2 weeks that you've been playing, have you been improving?
Yeah.
Do you feel that you are?
Yeah, I played like 2 hours 2 weeks ago, 2 hours last night, and for sure, it wasn't like a start over. Last night was definitely pick up from where I left off, and I was definitely better than my first go around.
Did you enjoy it more the first game or the second one, or the first night or the second night?
Oh, the first night, because I was like a little kid running all around all over the court. I had a big smile on my face no matter what happened. Right. I was just smiling the entire time. I had a great time.
Isn't it interesting? I know you have a young son, so I'm sure you see this, right? How kids enjoy play, right? Yeah. Like, and how there's no over analysis of how they're performing while they're playing. They're just playing and they're just enjoying it, right? Right. Is your son that way? Is he still young enough where like his play just seems to be real joy?
It engulfs him. That joy he just gets so happy that I think it's awesome, because I don't get that way anymore. I don't get like this. I don't know what it's called. Like, it's just this. He is happiness. He's just a ball of happiness. Whatever he's doing, whether it's playing with like figures or if he's playing with the tablet or some video games, he just gets so happy and excited, and it spills over into everything else. Running around the house or bouncing off the walls. You could see it building up. Mm-hmm. He starts playing and he's cool, and then it starts building up, and it turns itself into a really fun frenzy for him.
What is it about like growing up, do you think, that we start to detach from that, right? For example, and the reason I'm asking is because you painted two very specific scenarios in 2 nights of playing tennis, right? Right. You said the first night you were out there like a kid, smiling, just running all over the place and enjoying yourself. And the second night that you went back, you now had an adult's perspective of like, okay, well, I need to improve this and I need to work on that, right? And so then you became serious. Not to say that you didn't enjoy it, but I asked you and you said, no, the first night was a lot more fun, right? Yeah. Because the second night, now all of a sudden, it's not play anymore. Now you're working at something. Yeah, right?
That's right.
When does that? What age do you think that happens at?
I don't know. I don't know. I think in like the teenage years, probably.
That's what I would guess too, right? Yeah. Like, was there something that you did as a kid that was pure joy for you, that you took it to the next level, and then it starts to become work? Not to say that you don't enjoy it, but then it starts to become work.
No, I don't think so.
No.
I mean, like all the sports that I did as a kid, all the creative things that I did as a kid, whenever I do them, I still enjoy them. They never became work. I just wanted to like improve and get better at them, but it never became work. It just turned into a sport that I play or a creative outlet that I have.
Okay.
But like whenever I start jamming on the drums, at first it's like frustrating because it's been a while and I'm trying to figure it all out and get comfortable with it again. But as soon as I get into the rhythm, it's there again, and that soul comes out and the feeling comes out.
It's so funny. I forgot that you played the drums. And it's the only instrument around here that we don't have.
Well, we got one.
Well, we have the little one, right? But we don't have a kit. And there's been times when I was like, well, do we get one of those like electric kits, because we got bass guitar, amps, we got guitars, we have vocals, microphones, stage, we have everything, right? But the only thing that we don't have is a drum set. And I forgot that you played the drums. And now, just as you're saying that, I'm like, oh shit, do we need to get a drum set around here?
Can't get a real one though. You got to get an electric one.
Yeah. Have you ever played one?
Yeah.
An electric kit?
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
That's all right. How is an electric kit? What's it like to play?
I mean, they have some really great electric kits now that replicate the sensitivity of the drum pad. So, I mean, it's really good. Plus, you could program them like a drum machine. So, you do one click and it does an entire riff. So it's really good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to store that thought in the back of my mind. I wanted to, share something. I remember I was asking you about, like when did you go from like play to serious? When I was a kid, my parents taught me to ski when I was really young, like 3 or 4 years old, and I loved it. I mean, skiing to me was the ultimate, just freedom, just being out there in nature. And I started to progress with it, and I got good, and then I started to have an interest in ski racing, and so I started to participate. I joined a ski team near my house and started training with them, and I remember that I never loved it any less, but it definitely became not a job, but something that I was really focused on trying to get better. But I remember that I can look back and say that I wasn't mentally strong or confident enough at that age in my life to be able to have the mental strength to perform and win as consistently as my ability might have been. My ability was good. It wasn't amazing, it was good. But I found that the mental pressure of like big races and like you gotta have the perfect run this time, that was a lot, and I remember that didn't feel fun, when you would have like high expectations to perform well and then go out and you'd suck or you crash or something like that. It's taken me a lot of time in life to get to a point now where I'm like, okay, you change your mindset to it, to adjust to that, and now get back to having the fun. One of the things that I told myself was, 3, 4, 5 years ago, anything that I enjoyed doing as a kid, that's what I want to do now too.
I mean, I don't enjoy all the things that I used to do as a kid,
right?
But sure, I still enjoy a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, just to keep that like youthful perspective, and particularly now, like when I watch my kids, like any minute I'm interacting with my daughter Sabrina, she's let's play. That's the first, come on, let's play. And that's what they want to do, and that's how they want to spend time, and it's important to carry that forward into whatever you do. So I'm kind of like bobbing and weaving here into what we're doing here and what our goal is here at this point in time. And I've said it to you, I've said it to Brad, I've said it to a number of people. I want to do less of what we suck at, more of what we're good at, and have fun doing it,
Right.
Which I think that will translate into the conversations that you and I, the rest of us, have with our clients as well too.
So when you were a kid, probably like not that young, but I'm assuming at some point in high school you kind of had an idea of what you wanted to do in life. You maybe you didn't define it yet, but did you know that business, or was it creativity? Did you know at some point?
Well, it took me longer. As a kid, I had some very silly ambitions. My first ambition was to be a garbage man.
Okay.
Because I saw the guys riding on the back of the truck, and I thought that looked like such a great job.
But that's like when you're a kid.
Yes, very young. And then as I got into high school, I wanted to be an Olympic ski racer. I thought that was what I wanted to be. And there was times in college, I wanted to play guitar and be in a professional band. But I realized these were like developmental goals. I don't know that I was ever like, this is what I'm born and meant to be. But, those were important things along the way. One time when I was a kid, I wanted to have a ski shop. I was like, okay, I'll have a ski shop.
Cool.
I'll have a business, something that I love. But I always said that whatever I did, I wanted it to be, it sounds like selfish now, but like when I was, I always say, whatever I do, it will be of my own creation. That was my number one defining, statement about whatever I did. And I didn't know what that would be. It wasn't until after playing guitar in a band and kind of coming to the end of that stage in my life that I really realized that advertising, and at the time advertising, I mean, to me, marketing wasn't really the word then, it was advertising. And so to me, that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to take my creative abilities that primarily came from my love and passion for music and playing guitar. I wanted to be able to put that to work in a business environment. And fortunately, I was, lucky enough without a doubt, through the help and guidance of my dad and connections that he had, I was able to go to work at Zimmerman. And that's where I was able to start that path. But it was always not always, but all my life led me to that combination of creativity and business. And I've been very fortunate and blessed to be able to continue to do that through now and, hopefully for many, 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 many years to come.
So I know we've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
The law of attraction.
Yes.
Where you think about things, but you don't necessarily have to work on them. As long as you're kind of thinking about it, you're attracting it towards you. If you have negative thoughts, and you're attracting more negativity. If you're
Mm-hmm.
attracting, if you have positive thoughts, you're attracting more positive things into your life. Looking back, did you manifest all this? Did you have an idea one day that this would exist?
No, I don't think that would be accurate to say. I think that what I did my entire life can almost go back to that book my mom gave me, Do What You Love, The Money Will Follow, right? At every step in my life, I can truly say that I was passionate about something, focused on doing it, and to some degree, I did it. Right? Like, in fact, never to the extent of success that I might have envisioned in my mind. I wanted to be an Olympic ski racer, right? I didn't have the talent or the training pedigree to ever get there. But there was a time in my life that's what I wanted, so I pursued that to the very best of my ability via ski racing in high school and college. I did, so I went for that. I wanted to play guitar in a band that played out and toured around a little bit, right? And so I did that. Again, not to any huge level, but I had a band that was reasonably popular in my college town of Fort Collins, Colorado, and we played around Colorado, and we were on a TV show, and a local music TV show, low budget shit, but still I was able to do that, right? And then it was, okay, I want to get into advertising, so I did that. I wanted to get into I wanted to try my hand in the car business, and I did that. I didn't realize along the way that all of these things were leading me to this. I didn't know that. I can only look back now and say, wow, it's amazing how I've been very fortunate to have been interested in a lot of things that I applied myself to, and maybe didn't succeed to the level that I wanted to, but succeeded enough to feel like, okay, I applied myself to it and I did that, and I don't look back ever thinking, God, I wish I had done that. I don't have any of those types of regrets. But all of those parts and pieces, from when I was in the band, we invested money in a live sound system, right? And when I learned how to use it, and we would go do live sound for other bands. Well, now we've just reinvested in stuff like that here, and I know how to use it. So all these little bits and pieces along the way that were things that I just really enjoyed doing have led to where we are at now. Now, I can say that there were years, like decades, that some of these interests of mine needed to sit dormant for me to progress through other areas of my development to get here. But to answer your question, no, I didn't see it leading here. But now that we're here, I feel that it's an incredible opportunity to be able to now pull all these divergent interests of mine together into something that we, you and I and all of us here, can share in, and make something special, right? And hopefully everybody continues to feel comfortable bringing their pieces and parts in here as well too, so that we can take it to the, as Jordan used to say, take it to the next level. That was it was. Oh, bro,
I haven't seen one of his video casts or blogs or whatever he used to do. He used to put them out.
Yeah, he was doing a lot. I haven't either, but as you know, I haven't been on social media in so long that I couldn't even tell.
I don't think he's doing them anymore.
No?
No, it's been years since he's done one.
Well, now we're doing it.
They were so good.
Now we're doing it. Now we're doing it. We're going to do our own version of it. I wanted to, I had only 2 questions in mind as we come into this conversation, and I've asked you this one before, but I don't remember the question. It's essentially a different version of the same question that you just asked me, which is, what is it that drew you into this field, right? The field of advertising and marketing. Was there something in your life that said, yeah, this?
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's funny because when you put the bottle of scotch on the table, it reminded me of where it all started for marketing and advertising. Mm-hmm. When I had just graduated, I was an IT professional. I don't know, it was 2001. Uh-huh. I was an IT professional and I was a teacher. And I was working for Diageo. It's the company that imports Johnny Walker, they import Guinness and Red Stripe and a ton of other brands. The main one that I remember was Johnny Walker because I was set up in the conference room of Johnny Walker. I was an overpaid intern. I mean, it was my job, but at best I was an intern. That was like my level of experience.
Right.
And I was the IT guy. I would go and fix things. It was Windows 98, I think we were still using back then.
Right.
But Diageo is a marketing company. At its core, it's a marketing company. And I saw all of what went into marketing back then, which has changed drastically. But I saw it back then and I was like, this is the business that I want to be in because it's still business. It's still business, but it's so much fun. It's so much more creative. And I remember like these guys, these were like, 60-year-old guys, 50, 60-year-old guys. And they would start every meeting. It's not official, but they would start every meeting with a cup of scotch. Like 10 o'clock in the morning, here you go. I remember this one guy named Hamish, the Scottish guy. He was just a lush. And these were all great guys, super smart, really intelligent, very powerful guys.
Right. But
they were all business and marketing. It was all about business and marketing. And then ever since then, I was like, I studied the wrong thing. I did the wrong thing. So
did you study IT?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was a certified systems engineer.
For fuck's sake.
Uh-huh.
Did you know Darren's his first job was like IT? We were talking about that earlier today. It's so interesting. So all right, so you get in this environment, right? And it's so funny because on our bar cart out there, we've got a wide variety of different alcohols and spirits here that you would. And one of the bottles that we have out there is we've got a bottle of Johnny Walker Black, right? And I for half a second I was like, I haven't cracked it. I wonder if I should open that for this conversation instead. And I didn't, because I was like, no, I think this is a little bit nicer and a little bit more, just special. But it's funny that I thought about it, and I forgot that was, you had told me that you worked for the company that did the marketing and import. Was it? I'm sorry, one more time.
They do everything. They import Johnny Walker. Johnny Walker is its own company, but right. Diageo does the import logistics and marketing for all of those, a ton of brands in the U.S., the U.K., all over the world. It's a global company.
It's so interesting, so you get in this environment and you're like, this feels fun, right?
Yeah.
And interesting and exciting. Was some of it just literally just the old dudes, like having a meeting, having a drink, and like, getting to work in the old fashioned way, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. This is still like guys smoking cigars in their office. It was a lot of fun.
Such a different, that's a throwback to the 50s and 60s.
I think that's why I was like, it's got to be Scotch. When you asked me if it was bourbon, it's got to be Scotch.
Okay. Yeah, of course. Of course. It makes sense now. A lot of people, either, and we've always had somebody working here, right? Like right now we have Susie. Before that, it was Lori. We've always had, and I always want somebody working here. Tom is another example. An example of somebody who worked in New York 30, 40 years ago, right?
Yeah.
And they still know what that's like. Now, even 34, what's this, 2021, so 40 years ago, it's 1980, right? So you're still another 20 years into the 60s when you're talking like the Mad Men era, right? But that existed for a long time, and I think, I don't want to just distill it down to, everybody had a bottle of scotch in their office, they were drinking at work. Like, you can't get shit done when you're drinking all the time. I can't. Maybe I'm sure they could, and they did, right? But there is a romantic quality to that period of time in our industry when it was, hard driving, and everybody, it was like about the idea, right? The idea, like that creative, like what's the next cool, creative, artistic thing that we can do to help a company sell a product, right? So it's art, but it's not art for art's sake. It's artistic in nature, but there's still this, there's still this underlying need and responsibility that we have to the client to help them sell something. And we've talked about this before. I feel that our industry lost that.
Advertising as a whole?
Yeah. I feel that our industry lost that in the last 10 years. And I've said this to you before as well too. The onset of digital, which has been hugely impactful in all of our lives and our businesses and for our clients, and has been in a lot of ways very effective. Mm-hmm. But the onset of digital, and all of a sudden all of the companies either like us or the new upstart companies that were highly focused on digital, is a different mindset. It was more about a methodical process of marketing in terms of, here's the channel, here's how we measure that channel, here's the data and the information that we're able to ascertain from marketing down that channel. And I know for me personally, so many of my conversations with our clients over the last 10 years, they used to be about creative and ideas and creativity and what have you, and the ad, if you will. Mm-hmm. And that shifted to the performance of the distribution network, whether it was Google or Facebook or anything else.
Yeah. Our
conversations shifted to solely performance-based conversations.
Absolutely.
And I was always accustomed to performance-based conversations, right? But it feels like we shifted so hard in that direction as the industry really grew digitally.
Oh yeah,
right.
It used to be kind of like how did the creative perform? We had this creative, we set it up for you, we launched it, it's been running for the past month, now it's running for 60 days, now it's running 90 days. How has it performed? And now it's more of the creative on television doesn't matter. Is television giving us the boost? Did the third-party vendor give us the boost? Is it all performing to the benchmarks?
Right.
It's not really about the creative anymore, which is a mistake.
Well, and that is where I have found myself philosophically in the last couple of years, is really saying, okay, we've lost this sense of excitement and fun in what it is that we do. Almost anybody that you speak to that is in, I don't want to speak for everybody. I'll speak for us. I think those of us here that work here got into this business because there was some aspect of their personality or something that they enjoyed creativity, right? They enjoyed that creative process, whether it was writing or drawing or making music or taking pictures or video. It was like they wanted to express themselves, or we wanted to express ourselves creatively some way. And so with digital, it's not that you didn't have to have creative. Of course you do. But again, as we've said, the conversation and the focus moved away from the creative idea and more towards what avenue are we going to use, and what are the metrics that we can measure, and is it giving us that lift, right?
Digital is to me, digital is like a rewards-based system where I'm driving for the click, I'm driving for the like, and when I get the like, ooh, it's good. I get
right.
It's a reward. It's that little endorphin rush. Oh, I got my click, I got my like, I got
Pavlovian,
I got my yeah, exactly. And I think that's what it is. We're all still looking for, like, how many did we get clicks? How many clicks did we get? How many clicks did we get? Did we get conversions? How many conversions did we get?
Yes.
And I think there's plenty of those guys here too. Did we get the conversions? I got more conversions this month. Yes. Oh, conversions are up.
Of course, you're right. You're absolutely right. We all tend to think sometimes that, like, your thought process is like encompassed in a lot of minds. And all I can do is speak for myself at this point in time, having watched our industry go from traditional all through digital, and now it's like, okay, it's mostly digital, but traditional is still there. I mean, we still have tons of clients on network TV and cable television, and I don't see that changing anytime soon, because at the end of the day, it's just a screen. It's just a delivery mechanism to a screen. If that screen is in your living room, if that screen is your phone, if that screen is a tablet, it's just a screen, and there's a pipe sending something to that screen, right? Whether it's Facebook, whether that's Google, either way. But I really believe that now more than ever, for our industry, okay, for retail automotive, I think the time of getting back to creativity is here. I really do. And the reason that I say that is because, we found that over the years, with all the focus on digital, lots of dealers just don't feel that they need to do that big, it's the big month sale kind of message anymore. That used to work. It's not to say that it still doesn't occasionally in certain markets, but I feel that our clients are ready to be communicating themselves and their business in a different way, right? They've been through the digital ramp up and education process. It's now all a locked in, meaningful part of their business. But now I hope and I feel that our clients are ready to say, we want to put some great shit out there, right? Like we don't want this normal freaking, boring old monthly payment stuff, Again, if it's year-end clearance, yeah, let's do it, right? But I hope and think that our clients are ready to communicate themselves in a higher level, right? Better quality work, more exciting, different, trying different things.
The last two projects that I've been working on, one that I just finished like before I walked in here, the last two projects that I was working on were yearly plans of what the messaging is going to be and how it's incorporated into the client's brand. Mm-hmm. I haven't presented the second one yet, but I'm sure it's going to go well because the first one, went so well. The plan of the messaging and the creative and all that was just smooth, a smooth plan across the entire year. And when you present it to the client like that, what's not to love? Because right. It's really their messaging. Somehow it came out of us, but it's because they gave us all the feed. They gave us all the input.
Sure.
So, I mean, I'm sure they're going to love it. Those are the last two projects that I did that were like the most fun thing that I've done, that I've worked, this a couple days, couple nights where I've been working on something. It's all been about the creative message and how we're going to deliver it and where we're going to deliver it to.
Sure, of course. Which I mean, we'll always do that. And I love that part just as much. It's like, okay, here's the message. Now, where's it going to go and why? And why are we spending this much here and that much there and not this and that instead, right? That's a fun part, right? And that's a fluid thing that's going to change. But there's something that you just said that made me very proud. It did. What you said was the messaging is theirs, right? Like we brought it to them, but we were able to bring it to them because we listened to all the little bits and pieces of what they've told us over time that communicates to us who they are. That makes it easier for us to be able to communicate for them, right?
Right.
And it was always there was always a slide in the 12 steps to success that talked about it's our job to extract the DNA of the organization, right, and find a way to communicate that makes sense for the client, right? So I can't speak for you like me, right? If I'm truly speaking for you, I have to understand you, how you speak, what motivates you, what interests you, what is at the core of who you are. And as a advertising agency or a marketing partner to you, I have to listen to that. We have to listen to that and say, okay, well, Rich is like this, and this is his style, and these are things that are important to him, and this is what their people are like, right?
Right.
Because if we're going to communicate on your behalf for you, we want people to hear that in a way that is honest to you, and that when they come to you and ultimately meet you, there's not a disconnect between what we're saying in the marketplace and who you really are.
Right, exactly.
Right? And and you communicated just now that that's what you're doing, and I love to hear that.
Yeah, it has to be what we're doing. It has to be what we're doing. I mean, it's like you said, it's just the way that people tell us how they are, what they are about, and what we're doing is just, I feel like we're just kind of finessing it. We're just presenting it in a way that's easily digestible in 30 or 60 seconds, or on a quick frame on social media, or on a display ad, or in a newspaper. We're still presenting them how they would present themselves on paper, or on social, or on Google, or on video, or on radio.
Yes.
We're just cleaning them up a little bit. Hey, tuck your shirt in. Everybody needs somebody to say, hey,
coaching.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we've got coaching right now. We're shooting episode 2. Much thanks to Greg, our DP and producer, and Donna, who they're running around looking and saying, okay, let's clean that up, do this, do that, and some stuff I listen to and some stuff I don't. I'm a pain in the ass, but that's. They're helping us shape our vision of who we are, right? And,
right.
And so I think it's important that there's there is that. Everybody uses the word transparency, right? Like transparency, right? But it's important.
It's sincerity.
Yes.
It's sincerity. We don't have to show the world how the sausage is made, but we just have to be sincere. I don't want to lie to you. It's sausage.
Right.
It's tasty.
Yeah, it's good, and here's what goes into it.
Yeah, it's just sincerity.
Yes. And it ties into the, another thought that I've always said about our business is that essentially what we're doing is we're facilitating an introduction between two people. That's our job. Our job is to say, okay, Rich, you're the client, right? You want to meet a customer, right? Well, through our years of experience and knowledge and research and all that stuff, we think your customer is this person. And here's how we feel that we can best reach that person. And here's what we feel that needs to be said on your behalf to encourage that person to take the necessary actions to ultimately come meet you or a representative of you, right?
Yeah.
That's all we're doing.
Yeah.
We're matchmaking, right? But if I'm like, hey, Rich is, 5'2", 250 pounds, and has bleach blonde hair and 14 earrings, and then they show up and they meet you, well, that's not you, right?
Right.
So we need to present you as you are, as the best shirt tucked in, spiffed up version of you as humanly possible. So when that person comes, A, they're impressed, B, they're there and like, yeah, this is what I expected.
Did I ever tell you I used to call Donna the consultant?
No.
Yeah, Donna and I go way back.
Yes, of course.
So for a long time, I really didn't have. I had my sister and Donna to like bounce ideas off of in terms of like whatever how I would present myself. And it was always, my sister would always. She's like unconditional love. You look great. I love you. Everything you do is right. And that's not the case. I know it's not the case. I know I look ridiculous when I do this, But Donna would be like, no, you look ridiculous. Don't do that. Don't say that. Tuck your shirt in. She would do all these little consultant things for me, which always made me look good.
Right. You need that. We all need that.
Yeah.
We all need somebody to say, what would Donna say? I don't know. I feel like
That's totally her.
Right. I feel like that shirt's not working for you.
Right.
Right?
Yes.
And you go,
I'm
you're right.
I'm usually like, what do you mean? And then, you know, she would pull that on me all the time. Like, we'd go out, it would be like a Friday night or something, and I'm driving, we're on our way to South Beach or something, or we're on our way to downtown Fort Lauderdale, and she'd go, "You went with that shirt, huh?" What do you mean?
Such a great way to say it, right?
Yeah.
That's the one you chose, huh? Yes. That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Well, it's great to see you guys also at the same time continuing to thrive here. It really is. It's
I agree. It's a good feeling.
You both have the skill, talent, and ability. You put in the time and effort and hard work, and been able to, you know, share a life's path in a way, as friends previously, as working through here, as you know, through some ups and downs and what have you. And it's I think that's one of the things that makes us special. So I'm very thankful for that.
Me too. Very grateful. Yeah, I'm very grateful for all the opportunities that I've had because of Donna, through Donna, because of you. I don't know how to say that properly, but all the opportunities that I've had to grow and to learn and not just learn professionally, but grow and learn personally too, through all the ups and downs that I've had through here.
Well,
Yeah, it's been rough, but it's been great at the same time.
well, it's been a pleasure and a joy to be able to share that process with you. So I thank you. That feels like a good place to take a temporary pause until next time.
All right.
All right, man. Rich, thank you, man.
Cheers, man.
Appreciate
Cheers to
it.
you.
Appreciate you. Boom. All right. That's it. Episode 2 in the books.